Hey guys, good afternoon. This is Gene from 119 Woodworks, and for today I'm going to do a little shop tour, the 2018 shop tour of my little home base shop. So it's been a while since I made a shop tour. I think the last one was last year. So I'm just going to show you the things that I did and some changes in my shop. All right, so let's start. And let's start first with my workbench here. It's not actually a workbench, it's a workmate. No, actually, it's a Hoyoma portable workbench and it's folding. So, this one I bought this very cheap and it's not the best workbench. It's just good for power tool carpentry. You can only do limited hand tool works with this one, but it works. I use it all the time. And as you can see here, I'm making a bandsaw frame for my future 10-inch bandsaw. Alright, so let's move on. So here's my circular saw, my vintage Ryobi TF45 not circular saw, scroll saw. Okay, so this is my scroll saw, and this thing is a beast. It's a workhorse. It's got a cast iron top, very powerful, but it can only use pin blades, so that's a bummer. And yeah, it's a good scroll saw. It's very heavy, so I made a cart for it. And at the bottom of the cart, there's my mini compressor, and I bought that very cheap from the Japan surplus. I bought it for like 1,500 pesos. It's very cheap. This is actually cheaper. This scroll saw only cost me around 800 pesos in the Japan surplus. And it's got a damaged motor, so what's this? I had it rewind and it cost me around 1,800. So the whole scroll saw cost me around 2,600. Not bad, right? It's very cheap. All right, let's move on to my work table. This one is my Ozito bandsaw, but it's no longer mine. Okay, so I sold this, and it's already sold. The new owner paid for it, but he will get it, I think, in the future. Not now. All right, and here is my sanding disc, and yeah, it's made of this drill press motor that I got from Alfred, and yeah, and it works. There. But this one, I'm going to change it. I'm going to remove this motor. I'm going to put it on my bandsaw, new bandsaw, yes. Now, here you can see, let me put the lights in. Yes. So those are my pliers, a lot of pliers, mask, contact cement, oil, miscellaneous things, lemon oil, and on top is my are the planes that I use the most. It's my Kana Japanese plane. This is my magnetic Japanese saw guide. Then there's this vintage Western Stanley number 5 plane with the Creston blade. Works very well. My sharpening jig. I used to sharpen my planes and my chisels. And my low angle block plane. This is my Japanese marking gauge. I forgot the name of this one. And this one is my Mighty Mouse small plane. This is the plane that I use the most. So here I got my Trooper, what's this? Trooper Square. It's very cheap, 200 bucks, but very strong, very effective, yes. So that's a good buy. And here we have a lot of bits, screws, countersink bits. This is the one that I use to drill dowels. It's got the masking tape there as a guide. And those are my chisels. I don't know if you can see it, but those are my chisels there. And there's also files and some screwdrivers here. This is my new one. Lotus ratcheting screwdriver. it fits all of my screw heads here, so that's good. There's no wrench, adjustable wrench. My Japanese saw here, trim saw. I use that a lot. Here's my, I don't know what you call this, scraper. Yeah, so this is a scraper. And then there's and then here are the screwdrivers, drill bits that I commonly use, so I can see them. So there's 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. There's no 9. I don't know why, but I don't have a number 9 drill bit, but that's okay. So here we have another tongs. This is a plier hammer combination. It's pretty cool. Here are my Husky spanners, ratcheting spanners I say, so those are very good. This speed square, of course. A caliper, a vernier caliper. It's very good. That's digital. Bought that in Lazada. And here are my dowels that I usually use. I bought this from ODB Tools. So if you're looking for dowels, you can check ODB Tools. And there's the Queston tape measure. It's my X-Acto knife here. This one is this is from Japan Home. This is also a screwdriver or a wrench. So it's also ratcheting. So that's very cheap, 88 pesos. Here's a combination of screwdriver and a drill bit. So you have to wait a minute, I'll unlock it first. There you go. So yeah, there you go. So that's drill and screw, so you can use both in one drill. So here are my screws, stockpiles of screws right there. So of course Elmer's glue, very important. This one is half empty or almost empty. These are my pencils, utility knife, this spatula, yeah, my compass right here, WD-40, again very effective. It's another glue, so glue here, white glue. This is the glue that I use the most. It's Shellwood. At the back here you can see the hammer, small hammer. I just use the small hammer. I don't use the big one. I have one, but small hammer is good for me. Also my large mallet. So this is my I made this, and yeah, I really like this. This is the mallet that I use the most. And I have this Thor. So this is a Thor hammer mallet. So I just made this because I really like Thor Ragnarok. Even though his hammer was destroyed, I really like that movie, and I like the hammer. So I made a mallet designed like Thor's hammer. So there's the spirit level and with the ruler, and there's my bevel gauge, DIY, made by my dad. That's really cool. This one is my work light. I bought this one from the Japan surplus, 100 pesos. So that's very cheap. So I just mounted it here using this big block of wood, and then I just drilled a hole in there. And this is my vise, bench vise. So I think this opens up to 4.5 inches. This is from ODB Tools again, and it's only cheap. It's very cheap. It's around 1,300, I think. Yeah, so that's cheap. And this one, it's not very big, but it's okay for my needs. This one is my improvised drill press with the Ryobi big drill right here. I'm gonna change this in the future. I'm gonna buy a legit drill press, but before that I'm still using this one. So the work table also has some drawers. Let's take a look inside. Here are my drawers. Here's the drawer for my bits. See, auger bits, big drill bits. These are, I think, screwdrivers, yes. Also precision screwdriver. What's this? I think this is Creston. Yeah. Hole saws. So Creston hole saws. Some spare bits, some screw heads, more drill accessories and drill stuff. This is full of drill bits as well. It's my Craig guide, drill guide, given to me by Sir Ramil RGS Ivieri Sanchez. Thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful Craig drill guide. And here I have the commonly used bits that I use. Also some Forstner bits. Hammer. This contains hammer bits, or the masonry bits. There you go. And this is sanding disc for my drill. So yeah, that's the first drawer. It's always full. Let's look at the second drawer. There you go. So that's my DeWalt drill, workhorse of my shop. DeWalt impact driver, the DeWalt charger, batteries, spring clamps, ear muffs, flexi ties. This one is wood burning tool that I haven't used yet. Okay, I bought that from Sir Ronald Sanchez. Thank you so much. And here is my goggles, safety goggles. This is the evil stuff. Okay, so this is my Craig R3 set. Super overpriced, super expensive, and I don't even know if I'm going to use it for a long time, but hey, it's there. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But still, it's overpriced. So fuck you, Craig. But so that's a joke. Maybe Craig will sponsor me in the future. So yeah, I like Craig tools. Okay. All right. So let's move on. All right. So we got some toolbox here. I think this one contains my chisels, more chisels. This one is for the electrical stuff, and this one is for the cosplay stuff. So I used to cosplay long ago, and I got my cosplay tools there inside. Now here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see this, but I have my Ryobi. It's big belt sander by Ryobi. It's excellent belt sander. I really love that thing. And I have this, my Dremel 3000 rotary tool. My Skill jigsaw with a wooden guide here, because I use this to cut steel aluminum, so I have to put a guide so that it will not go very deep. It's my charger for the DeWalt. Again, I have two chargers for the DeWalt, and of course my 2000 watt transformer. Very important because most of my tools are 110 volts, so that's the first one of the most important tools in my shop. The second most important tool is this one. This is my surplus vacuum cleaner from Australia. So that's very powerful, 2000 watts, and I use that to clean all of the sawdust in my house. Let's move on to the most important power tool on my shop. That's my table saw. That's a Ryobi. I don't know if you can see this, but it's Ryobi ATS1525SC. So that's a power horse. It's big and I love it. Yes, it's got this very big cast aluminum top, and it's expandable, so you can span that here and here, and it's got this sliding table, which I also like so much. And here is the stand that I made for it. It's a wooden stand with caster wheels, so I can take it anywhere. It's got this dust collection drawer right here. It's almost full of dust. My jigs are all here. The crosscut jig, the panel cutter, the push sticks are there. That's my box jig right there. And the miter gauge, which is shitty. It's not good. Alright, so that's my table saw. And beside it is my miter saw. It's an old Craftsman. So it's a Craftsman miter saw. It's okay. It's a miter saw. It can cut. and it's got this solid cast iron base, which I really like. So this one is very stable, and it's a good miter saw. Yes. At the bottom there, I have my Mako oscillating tool that I usually use just to sand things. This one is not a good tool. It's bad. Don't buy this brand, Mako. Alright. So anyway, next one is my nail gun. Small nail gun. I use this to nail some plywood. A half-inch plywood like that, or 1/4 inch plywood. It's good for that. It's very small. And here is my other favorite tool. This is my there. That's my mini cut-up saw. Let me show you that. There you go. So it's a small cut-up saw. I bought this from the Japan surplus. Cost me 1,500 bucks, which is very cheap, and I really like it. And I discovered something about it. So Sir Romeo says that this could be a sharpening jig right here, or sharpening wheel, and I tried sharpening things on it, and it is it is a sharpening disc. So that's really cool. So I really like this tool, and I think I'm going to use that for a long time. I think I'm going to try to sharpen my table saw blade on this one next time. Alright, let's move on. So that's miter saw again. Let's go to the hidden part of my workshop, the place that you don't usually see. And I don't know if you can see this very clearly because the lighting here is very, very poor. However, let me show you the stuff here. This is my Bosch Bosch GEX 270A random orbital sander. So Bosch sanding pads right here. Excellent sanding pads. That's very good. Here's my Skill orbital sander with a 1/4 pad. Here's my Black & Decker Matrix trim saw, the saw that I use a lot, except for the table saw. I use this one as my go-to cutting saw. My Craftsman C3 drill with a NiCad battery, so that's not good. I'm going to replace that though. And here's the chargers for the Craftsman and the Black & Decker there. And this is the drill head of the Black & Decker Matrix. And here are vice grips, a lot of vice grips, clamps, quick clamps. This is Creston quick clamps, very cheap, 200 bucks I think. And here's my Creston vice grip clamps, which is like Craig clamps but a lot cheaper. Strap clamps right here. I bought this in Panda. And here I have some of my F clamps, Creston F clamps right here. And these are my Scheider aluminum bar clamps. I call them Scheider because the color scheme is like Scheider. If you remember Scheider, the very popular superhero, Japanese superhero, yeah, so that's like his color. So I call it Scheider clamps. So some miter box here, that's Lotus, 300 pesos I think. It's big square right here. On top is that's my homemade jointer with a Black & Decker planer and also another router here. This is my small router, the trim router that I use all the time, and those are router bits right there. This one is my big router. It's mounted on my homemade router table. This is the Skill 1500 watt router. So that's my second router. At the bottom here is my vintage Makita drill. It's very old but still very effective. That's my favorite. Here is my Milwaukee grinder. Another grinder here. I don't know what brand this is, but it's another trigger type grinder. And inside here are grinding disc. Have this Creston tool caddy full of tools, of course. Another router. I love routers. Okay, this one is my Black & Decker plunge router. So I'm planning to make a full scale or full size router table using this one instead of the scale. So that's a future project. Some drills, defective drills or drills that I don't use, power tools that I don't use. Hand tools that are not in regular use. At the bottom there, I have more toolboxes and stuff. It's a lot of shit right there. Okay, let's move on. And here's my spirit levels here. 2 feet spirit levels, hacksaws. It's a toolbox for my planer. And then there's this Craftsman trim saw that shares the same battery as my drill, Craftsman drill. So it's only NiCad, not good enough. It's medicine cabinet here. And here are my Japanese saws. So I made this very nice rack for all of my Japanese saws right here. I also have a coping saw. And then there's this bolt cutter. That's a jack right there. Okay. And power puller. Yeah, so that's a power puller back there. So here are my extension cords and other miscellaneous shit right here. Sharpening wet wheel. This is what I use to sharpen my stuff, my chisels, my planes. Just some brad nails, hinges, more hinges and more brad nails and more drill sharpening shit. I don't know. Here we got some blades for my jigsaw and blades for scroll saw. And I don't know, some more blades there. What's this? Screw extractor, Master Mechanic. It's a good one. Here are my screws, other screws that backup screws. So these are just full of screws. And on top is my this is full of blind rivets and Torx wall anchors. So there's a battery charger there. Here are my hand Western style saws that I never use. Okay, so I never use this saws. I kind of like my Japanese saws, and of course my power tools. All right, let's move on to the last part here. So here is my auger bit. That's cool. I bought that cheap, around 600 bucks. No, around 300 bucks. Yeah, so it's very cheap. And this is my planer aluminum encased wood plane made by my father. It's good. This is my Gross JP5 plane. So I don't use that all the time, but it's there. And my small block plane right here. Shitty block plane, but that's also good. So here's my wooden shoulder planes, sharpening stone, my, what do you call this? A spoke shave. Okay, spoke shave. And a long jointer plane, wooden jointer plane. And this one, I just made this. This is my old my old pocket hole jigs, improvised pocket hole jig. That was a very long time ago. And here is just random tools, old tools owned by my father, and now I own them. So that's it. So that's just the whole shop. So that's the whole deal in my shop. So I hope that you enjoyed the tour, and maybe next time if I got to move in a better shop than this one, I can show you more. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Gene from Pinoy Woodworking and DIY channel, and I'll see you next time.